Hey everybody, are you ready? I know a lot of people are excited. I've gotten lots of texts and emails and everything. So
Show that what I'm going to be putting up as soon as I go over there and leave you to it.
What are you talking
about?
The
papers that it's going to be in the files.
Oh, so when she goes over there off of camera for a minute, while I'm explaining stuff, this will be uploaded. This is the pattern.
The instructions.
The instructions, 1 through 5. 5 pages of that, and then 1,000,000 pages of pictures. So, and I don't have those all printed out. But this right here, no, it's the way you had it, right here. Just move. Okay.
I'm
it's
closing
so
your cutter.
big.
No.
Look, oh my gosh. It's so big it doesn't even come in here. But this is so I can see these really at a glance. So the only thing that's not marked with a size on this picture, my fault, it's 10.5 by 18.
I fixed it in the files.
Oh, did you?
Oh, yes, I did.
Okay, in the files, it's right. But on here, I had to write in the size, which is not totally necessary because if you look at this sheet, supplies and cutting, quick glance sheet, everything is on there. So when all else fails, if you're confused here, look here. If you're confused here, look here. So
so I'm going to go put that on in the files right now.
Okay, so I'm going to sit and explain things, and we're going to mark things. We're not going to be cutting on camera. I didn't want to waste your time by doing that. I do want to explain the cutting. That's most important. But first, let's go through your templates that you got in your kit. So, this weird shape here, well, we should do it in order, right? Okay. The Mega Lella template, that is your huge template here. I just suggest that you take your silver marking pens, if you have one, and just go over what it is that you're working with. So at a glance from across the room, of course this is not confusing because there's only one of these shapes and it doesn't look like anything else. What's important here is this that says top, and this is the Mega Lella bag. So I'm sure that someone will end up making it with a different Lella template, but for now this is the Mega Lella bag. And just know that this top is important because this shape is a certain way. This is how we're going to be sewing it. So you don't want to get that confused and cut it the opposite way, which is entirely the reason why I didn't want anybody cutting ahead of time, because it has to be that way. So therefore, when you're cutting your exterior bag, now for today's purposes, if we could show this bag here, this is exactly what we're making. You guys got both of these fabrics here. And this is if you use the gray for the exterior, and this one is if you use the colored one for the exterior. So you can do it however you want, and you can absolutely make both of these with what Valerie sent you in your kits, okay? And in fact, you can make multiples of them. So today we're going to make a bag that looks just like this one, okay? So here's our Mega Lella shapes. We have 2 of them. And so you cannot fold your fabric and cut these both at the same time. They both need to, your fabric needs to be face up. And also the bumps of your SF101 that has to go on the back side of these needs to be cut with the bumps up. So, and then everything will turn out right. So you've got 2 of these huge shapes. This is the main exterior bag, right? Okay, and I'm going to put those over here. And so that explains the Mega Lella shape. Let's see. I'm just going to start picking up stuff. Okay, so the foam, you have your NR foam from Bosel in your kits. This needs to be at 13 by 16 and a half. So, and this is a fusible on one side, and if you feel it, the scratchier side is the side that can be fused. I do not suggest you fuse it. You can if you want to, but I will not be fusing it. My very good friend Dar, the bag maker extraordinaire, says usually she never fuses on a bag, because when you turn the bags right side out, you will see a bunch of wrinkles and stuff that you wouldn't have had you not fused it. So today we're just going to be basting stuff onto here and then sewing it together. Okay? So that is your foam. Now, let's see. Okay, I'll get to the zippers in a minute when I get my desk a little clearer. And let's see. So how about the straps? You have some fusible fleece in your kit. You will only need that for 2 pieces of the straps. I'm going to show you this right here. So this is foam on the back side of 2 pieces of your exterior fabric straps. And then the other 2 pieces of your straps will be done with the SF101. Those can be cut in multiples because it doesn't matter. It's, you know, even if you cut it with the bumps down, bumps up, it's still going to be able to get fused onto these. So you can cut those multiply. Mainly it's that Mega Lella shape.
Breaking news, Graham T's here.
Oh, hi Graham T. Where was I at? I told you about the straps. Okay, the plackets. The placket pieces, you're going to have 2 interior and 2 exterior. And both are fused with the SF101 on the back. We will be marking these, so I'm going to just set these aside right here.
That's what I found.
Oh, sorry. I've got my phone on silent, but all of a sudden Siri wants to talk to me and it's on silent. So Sherry, I don't know, come and mess with this phone. Here is your pocket piece. Now, I often refer to this as the weirdo shape. So it does have pocket written on it. I don't know if all of yours actually has pocket written on it, but this is the lining, the pocket lining that goes on the exterior bag. It's the exterior bag pocket piece right here in the front, right here. On this bag, inside of here, that's where this weirdo shape comes involved. Inside here, your pocket goes all the way over. And I was told this is a good bag to carry a gun in if you need it. So, so there's that. Anyway, this weirdo shape, it is written over here that says fold. Okay, that is very important because when you're aligning, let me move my paper out of the way. When you're aligning to cut this, you want to make sure that the fold is on this straight edge. And it says top up here. So I'm going to just kind of highlight all the pertinent information that's on here. So that is that. Your zipper placement ruler. I would like you to mark the halfway point on here. And I like to do it, I'm sorry, I'll do it on this side because then I can't do it on the bigger numbers over here. 10.5. So I need to mark this at 5 1/4. Just to let me help line this up. I'll put it over here now. And you're just making a little mark here and here for later placing the ruler. Okay? So, how about these pieces? These pieces are what you are going to be finishing zippers with. So these are the tabs that go on the top and bottom. I'll show you on the bag behind me what these pieces are. So underneath the zipper, the exterior zipper, there is a piece here. And this is designed so that way when you're bending your bag and doing the corners of the bag, it doesn't interfere with your zipper, right? It's better. You don't want to have a zipper bending down here. It's going to be useless, right? So this is 2x4s down here, and these are 2x2s up here. So that will give you a better visual of what these little pieces actually are, okay? And then we have a 2x4.5 piece that is going to go on the end of your placket zipper. I'll show you that right here. See there? This is the placket inside here. If you guys don't know what a placket is, that's what a placket is. So when your purse tips over, nothing will fall out. So at the end, we put this little square, and that's what this 2x4.5 square is. Okay? I will tell you that we have put a placket only video on our YouTube. I feel like maybe that's going to be the most difficult part. So after you watch, and if you have any issues, go to our YouTube, which is Wombmate Creations, YouTube, Wombmate Creations, and we have the whole placket video for you to stop and rewind and carry on. That way you can get your placket right. Okay, so that's that piece. You'll have two facing pieces. These are 2.5 by 16.5. The facing is, when you look down in the purse, the edges here, this is what the facing piece ends up being. So when you're looking down in the purse, like this, you're seeing all the exterior fabric, right? And it just one continuous thing here. And that's what that is. So those are the facing pieces. And then we have, this is the interior pocket lining piece that is 10.5 by 18. And that we will be adding the interior zipper pocket lining to this. This is the interior pocket lining. I'm sorry. This is the interior pocket lining that will be attached to one of your pieces of your interior lining pieces. So this will make a hole here with our zipper placement ruler. We'll put a zipper pocket in there, and then when you unzip the pocket, you're going to see this on the inside. So that's what that is. So those are all your parts and pieces of your fabrics right now. I guess I should be putting them over here. I don't know. I'll probably bring them back up here. We'll see. How about the placket? This is the placket template. If it's not marked, please mark it so you'll know what it is. Placket. Okay, so that's your placket piece. And this, obviously, is your strap piece. If it's not marked, please mark it so you don't get confused with anything. So there you go. You got your strap template and your placket template. And then we have a nice little 1.5 inch square that we will be using to mark our corners for boxing. I prefer to trace them and then cut them on this particular project. So really, any kind of marking pen. I love the new iron offable pens that Martelli has. They're great. They write the first time every time. I've been having very good success with those pens. So when it's time to trace out our box corners, that's what I'll be using for that. Okay, so I think that's that. Now I'm going to be referring to my instructions so that I do these in the order that you guys are seeing it, because I've made so many I can just sit down and start doing it. So I have to try to remember to go by how you guys are doing it. The cutting sheet, there's an order. If you go in order of this, you'll have enough fabric to make all your pieces. So obviously I was making the bigger cuts first. So, I mean, you could do it how you want, but that's what I'll be doing. Let's see. Sherry? Yes. Okay, so let's see. Let me see what's going first. Oh, also, your seam allowances. We will be switching out seam allowances, and it's important that each time you have a piece to know which seam allowance you're using. It's clearly listed in here, but I will be saying it as well. But if you want just a quick glance at that, it's 1/4 inch unless otherwise stated. So, but if you want to just refer to this to double check yourself, that's great. Okay. So, of course, first you're going to be fusing your pieces, your Lella shape, your placket pieces, and your strap templates. You're going to fuse all that so then you can start preparing your zippers and proceeding with your purse. So, after you have interfaced everything, you will start preparing your zippers. Now, I have cut my zippers the way they need to be cut, but I'm going to show you with a different zipper how to cut these. I did show it in one of our lives, but in case you missed that, we're going to do it right here. You have an extra long interior zipper. That is for the interior zipper pocket, and it's way longer than you need. So remember, with that zipper pull installer, you can save some of this zipper and use it for something else. Just put a different zipper head on it. Okay. Same with these. We already have the zipper heads on there, the zipper pulls on there. But when you cut them, save what's left over, and you'll make another zipper out of them. These number 5 zippers are the best for doing interior and exterior, or they're good for exterior bag things. The placket, the exterior bag. The number 3 zipper is good for any type of lining pocket. Okay, so we obviously don't need this much of a zipper here. So we're going to just cut this down so we're not fooling with such a long zipper. As long as you have a 12 inches or more, I like them to be bigger than what I need them. So we're just going to go ahead and cut this one down. I like to pull the zipper pull down, squeeze it together, and I'm going to cut off the metal part of all of these zippers, okay? So I'm just going to go through and cut off that. And then I'm just going to make this about, I don't know, 13 inches. How about that? So then we've got a nice size left over to put away to get a number 3 zipper head and make us another zipper out of that for a different project. So that's the interior zipper, is your colored zipper, whatever color that you got in your kit. Then you got 2 black number 3 or number 5 zippers. So you are going to, where's my quick glance sheet? You're going to cut the placket zipper at 16 inches. Is that correct? Yes. 16 inches. So the same thing, and I'll show you on these white zippers how to do that. So you got a black zipper like this that's very long. So you're going to pull that zipper head out of the way, chop off the metal. The reason why we do that is because you never want your needle on your machine to be trying to go through metal. Not a cool look. And you're going to be having a trip to the mechanic. So we are going to do this placket zipper at 16 inches. So we'll come over here, cut it off at 16, and now that would be our placket zipper ready for us. Again, save your leftovers, and same thing with all the different, you have 2 number 5 zippers. You're going to do one at 16 and one at 9.5. Okay, so I'll put those zippers away. We've got our 2 zippers ready, and then our green interior zipper, we have that ready too. I will take these to the machine and just get these out of my way. I'll be preparing those zippers first. Oh, but let's go ahead and mark up our placket zipper, which is the longer one. We're going to make a bent zipper out of it. So you're going to need to mark this at 1/2 inch on that edge that you cut off. You're going to mark that 1/2 inch down. And I probably should have got a white marking tool because I forgot I was dealing with a black zipper. But we're going to make it work. Hold on one second. And let me find, I think this will work. I think this is going to work. So we're going to make a mark at 1/2 inch. Now I like to use my board this way, okay? I just go on this first line, this little square here, that's 1/2 inch. So this is marking on here. You might not be able to see it on camera, but I have marked this 1/2 inch down, okay? And I do that on both sides. And now that's ready to be done into a bent zipper. I did show that when we did the placket video, so refer to that if you need to, but I'll be showing it on camera. So that's our placket zipper that is prepared now to go to the sewing machine. And the other zipper I don't need to do because I'll be doing it at the sewing machine. So let's go ahead and go to the sewing machine and do the zippers for now. Let me see. Okay. We'll go over here to the sewing machine and just let's see that. Okay. All right, I'm going to get my little pieces. All right, and I'm sure that you guys, I'm not sure. I don't know if all of you have made any kind of zipper end pieces or not, but this 2 by 4.5 piece that you have, I would like for you to look at it face up, and I want you to fold it over so that you're looking at the wrong sides, like that. And now we're going to bend these sides right back up, like that, and flip it over and bend this side up. It's not that fiddly, you guys, because we're going to be turning this out. So we're going to do this at 1/4 inch here and 1/4 inch here, on both sides. So I just fired up my machine, and I'm just going to use like a 2.4 stitch length, and I'm going to do this at 1/4 inch. I will tell you that I have this blue piece of tape here, and I will talk about that in a few minutes. So right now we're just going to sew this at 1/4 inch. And sometimes I do back and forth on both sides, but I didn't when I first started out on that piece. On this one I will. So back it up, and then back it up, and then you have a nice strong seam here, like that. And let's see, there we go, have it. And now we're going to stick our fingers in here and flip it out. And this is where your stylus, your pokers, your mommy stick, whatever it is that you like to use. I know Lisa has a mommy stick here for me because we had it last time here. It's not the actual mommy stick, but it works. So we're going to push these corners out nice. You can trim a little bit if you want, but I kind of like to have those seams in there, okay? So this is what we're going to put on the end of the placket piece, okay? You've got your zipper pull on this end, and we mark this to be, wow, I can't see my marks, so I'll have to remark them again. I didn't think about using, sorry you guys, I didn't think about using a black zipper and y'all not be able to see the markings, but we'll go ahead and do the placket end piece. So you'll take your zipper right here, put this square that you just made. You can burn the ends of your zipper tape so it doesn't fray. If it's starting to fray, just burn the ends of it. And or some people use fray check for that, but you're just going to slide this square into here, and I can't, somehow I can't get it to go in there, of course, because you know, real life sewing, y'all.
I was just about to say that.
So here we go. And what we want to do now that we've got this tucked in there is we're going to sew a little square. We're going to top stitch a square of stitching on here to just make it look nice, okay? I got some loose threads here. All right. So this will be seen, so you either want to use a leader or I prefer to pull my threads up so you can't see where I've started it, okay? So we're just going to top stitch this. I'm going to change my stitch length to 3.0 so that throughout the whole purse, I am going to be using a 3.0 stitch length every time I top stitch. Okay, so I'm going to drop my needle in, bring it back up, pull my bobbin thread up, grab that thread, get it out of my way, put my needle back down, and now the back will look as neat as the front because you will end up seeing this. So we're going to go ahead and top stitch this. Just hold it, and you know, when you're going over your zipper, depending on what type of machine you have, you might want to just go a little bit slower. On the M7, you will see every time I stop, the foot will raise. That way I can manipulate what's underneath the needle. And to me, that is one of the greatest features of this machine. So just wanted to point that out. And we're just going to make this little box. This just secures it and makes it look nice, and it gives you something to hold on to. So where I pulled my threads up, I'm just going to get those out of the way and complete my box. I'm going to tie it off, and then I'll bury those threads.
Gee, there's a question asking what foot you are sewing with today.
I am sewing with the HP2 foot, and I will be keeping that in there the entire time. That's a great question because I have my foot marked. If we can zoom, hold on a second. I'll bury these threads, and then you'll be able to see the foot the way I marked it. So now that that's out of the way, on the edge of on this foot, right here in the front, on the middle of both of these, both sides of the foot, I have marked with a Sharpie right in the center. So anytime I'm top stitching, I will just follow this marking along the edge of the fabric, and then you will have a great top stitch and not have to mess with any of your settings, of course, except for your stitch length. So I'm going to bury this thread here, and I have some loose threads on this that I will clean up later. So we're going to bury this thread. If you don't have self-threading needles, I really highly suggest you get some because that makes it very easy. You don't have to look and try to thread a needle. You just pop it into place, and then you can bury your thread into your fabric. Make sure you're not poking all the way through so that you don't see the threads on the back side. And we're going to snip it off, and the end part of our placket zipper is done. Now we need to do the bent part, and I still need something else to write with. Hold on, you guys. I probably can make this red show up pretty good. Let's see. Red or a yellow.
Would this show up, G? This Sharpie?
I think this red will show up long enough for me to use it.
Look.
No, it won't show up. So again, I'm going to mark this 1/2 inch, and I can see this, but maybe you guys can't. But mark your zipper 1/2 inch. I'm going to explain it good enough to where even if you can't see my markings, you'll see what I'm doing. So we're going to take our zipper and look at it this way, okay? And then we are going to bend the teeth towards that line that we made in the back of that line. So we're still looking at the front of our zipper, and the teeth are lining up in the back of that line. So we're going to grab it like this, and then we're going to flip it down. And see how that bends that zipper? Awesome. So we're going to stitch this down. Just reduce your stitch length and just hurry up and put it underneath there and stitch it real quick. Just get it on there. It's not going to show as long as you put it right at the edge. You're just trying to tack that down a little bit. And then back up, and so it can stay nice and bent, okay? And I'll show you this up close. I'm going to snip off some of this excess thread here and here. I'll show you that. Right there is what it should look like at this point. See, I stitch it right here, and it doesn't matter that you can see it. You don't need to match your threads for that or anything. I'm going to be using gray in my top and my bobbin thread the whole time. So this won't show. Only the bend of your zipper will show. And we're going to do the same thing to the opposing side. So we're going to take this zipper teeth and bend it back behind that line, and then we're going to throw it forward. And when you get that little square or little triangle there, you know it's right. You can look at it and see if it's bent good, right? This side is a little easier to do because you're starting it on the tape part and not the teeth of the zipper. So just throw it in here. Hold it as long as you can. Now, if you need to use pins or glue or something, I tried doing the double-sided sticky tape, and I did not like the outcome. I couldn't do it to where I didn't see the tape. So I choose to do it this way. However, you can get your zipper bent and put in place. That's the goal here. And this is the other end of, now when you zip it, see how the zipper is bent? And there we go. And that's what your zipper should look like for your placket zipper.
They're asking what the stitch length is when not top stitching.
When not top stitching, we're still doing the 2.40 when I'm not top stitching, except for there's a bunch of, stitch length 2.4 most of the time, 3.0 when I'm top stitching. I just reduced the stitches just a little bit because to get it on there real quick, it's making smaller stitches and getting it down. So I took mine down to a 2.2.
And they also would like to know what weight of thread you're using, and is it all cotton?
Let's see. I have to look. It's a 40 weight, and it's a polyester, and it's Magnifico, and it's 2166. I knew someone was going to ask me, and I'm like, I don't know the thread weights. I'm not good with the thread weights. So number 40, and it says polyester. It's Magnifico thread.
We use Magnifico now for most everything.
Yes. So guys, we have our placket zipper done. It's going to be ready for our placket pieces later. Let's go ahead and prepare our other pieces. Our other zipper, I mean. So Now we're going to take our exterior zipper, which is 9.5. Am I correct? Let me look at my sheet. 9.5. I don't want to say it wrong. Yes. 9.5. This is for your exterior zipper. So this is for that zipper that looks diagonal on the front of your bag. Okay, so the top is going to be where the top of your zipper is, the zipper pull is, and here's the bottom. So the 2x2s will need to go at the top, and the 2x4s will need to go at the bottom. Okay, so the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze this zipper together, and I'm going to just take a couple stitches to just hold that zipper in place, because it has no stoppers, remember, because we cut those off because we didn't want to have to try to sew through that metal and mess our machines up. So I've just tacked this down just a little bit, and it makes the zipper close. And now we're going to take those 2x2s, because we're still at the top of the zipper. We're going to take those 2x2s, lay your bottom piece face up, put your zipper, center your zipper onto there. Now I can unzip this a little bit and just maneuver a little bit better than having to mess with that pull. So our zipper teeth are face up, and so is that bottom piece face up. Now we're going to put face down, so right sides together, right on top of each other, and we're going to sew this at 1/4 inch with a 2.4 stitch length. And that's what we're going to do first. And these stitches won't get seen. Go ahead and back stitch, but that's going to get cut off anyway, so it's not totally necessary. Now I usually do back stitch across my zipper teeth. Now this is a nylon zipper, so you can easily sew on top of those zipper teeth. Don't be scared. If you don't have a heavy duty machine, just go a little bit slower when you're going over your zipper teeth. Okay, so it should look like this now. You've got this sewn together here, and now we're going to flip this out and flip this out. Okay, so now you should be looking at the right side of your fabric. We're just going to pull these nice together, kind of finger press it, and now we're going to top stitch across here. Okay, top stitching at 3.0, so I'm changing it to 3.0 to top stitch it. And you can even sew it on with a 3.0. It's not that big of a deal, but so if you don't want to change your stitch lengths back and forth, that part, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to go across here and top stitch from the edge here, and then cut that off, and we'll deal with the rest of this in a minute. Now we're going to do the bottom part of our zipper. So again, we are going to lay one of these 2x4 pieces face up. We're going to center our zipper on there as best we can, like that. And then we're going to take our next piece face down, so right sides together with our sandwich, with our zipper sandwiched in between there. Remember, your zipper teeth are up. And we're going to stick this in our machine, and again sew it at 1/4 inch. And I'm going to just take a couple extra stitches back and forth over the zipper teeth area and cut that off. Bend both of your pieces of fabric back. Try to line them up nicely. But we are going to be cutting these sides off to match the width of the zipper. I'm still at a 3.0 stitch length because I'm top stitching. So next we'll go to the cutting board, and we're going to even this up with the sides of my zipper. Okay? And I usually just eyeball this. If you're not comfortable doing that, then the 2x6 ruler or the 1x6 ruler is great for this. So unzip your zipper a little bit, and I'll come over here so you can see a little bit better. We're just trying to make this piece the same width as our zipper, okay? So I'm just going to line my 2x6 ruler. And we are going to do a giveaway for the 2x6 and the 1x6. So this is a good thing to have. If you don't already have it, we'll do a giveaway for that. So Sherry will notate that.
I'm
or
looking
Amy,
for it.
and then we'll do a giveaway for that. But we're going to just trim this excess of the tab off just to meet the same width as our zipper, okay? And same way on this side, I'm going to line this up with my zipper, my 2x6, just like that. It's really not that fiddly. It's going to get sewn in again. So, but we want this the same width as our zipper. So if you close this, you'll see that it's the same width. Don't worry about this part. It's getting sewn in too. That's because I didn't line it up that perfectly. But you'll see it's not that fiddly. So we're going to just do this again. We're going to line up our ruler. If you line up with the tape, the rest of it will just be lined up, okay? Oh, I probably should. Well, I didn't do a very good job of lining those pieces up, but that's fine. So we're going to just trim off the excess here on this side. Same way for this. Okay. And trim off this. So now it looks like this. And what I like to do is, let me get this trash out of the way. What I like to do is go, it's not totally necessary, but you guys know I don't like anything flapping around. So what I'm going to do is just go and stitch this here, here, and here to make it one piece that's not flopping around. Because when I'm starting to sew this, I don't want to deal with something that can get misaligned, right? So we'll go and stitch this down, and that'll be our exterior pocket zipper done. And like I said, it's not going to get seen, so if you have a rat's nest on the back, it doesn't matter because it's not going to be seen. It's going to get all sewn in. I'm going to take a second to get a drink here.
How about I do a giveaway? Yeah, let me pull up my wheel here. If the internet gets reconnected. Let's see here.
Okay, I guess Sherry's going to do a giveaway.
I'm going to do the 2x6 and the 1. I am.
Okay.
I'm getting my stuff together.
Here comes Santa Sherry.
Yeah.
I think, so I have stitched on the edges just to make sure they're, you could actually glue those or tape them or anything or not do them at all. It's your choice. I just don't like to have things flapping around. So that is our placket or our exterior pocket zipper. Now we're going to start the straps. So I shall get my straps and
Whenever you need me to do a giveaway,
yeah,
I am,
you'll be ready this
I
time?
am now, well, I had to find the 1x6 and 2x6 because you mentioned that and I wanted to give that away first.
Yay.
Because
I'm
why
happy.
I'm so organized like that.
Oh, okay. All right.
So,
Our strap pieces. You have 2 that have fusible fleece, and you have 2 that have 101. On the camera, I'm sure you can't tell the difference because they're white. This one is the fusible fleece is thicker and fuzzy, okay? So, and that's going to be your part of your strap that is showing on the outside. So when you have it on your shoulder, the part that's next to your shoulder is going to be the fusible fleece side, and it's going to be the 101 side, and the fusible fleece is going to be on the top of your shoulder. So the first thing we need to do is when you cut your interfacing, I said to cut 1/4 inch off of the edge of each of these pieces on the small side, on the shorter side. We don't have it going all the way to the edge, and that is because it's going to be too bulky in the seam. So we just kept that, we just cut it like the strap piece is, and then we took a 1/4 inch and just chopped that off. It's not that fiddly, it just helps you not to have such bulk in your seam of these together. So you're going to match the like ones together. So the 2 fusible fleece ones are going to get sewn together, and the 2 101s ones are going to get sewn together. So we're going to put right sides together, match it up, and I usually put a clip right here just to hold that in place. We're going to match this short side together, and we're going to sew it at a 1/4 inch, 2.40 stitch length, or whatever you prefer. And I'm going to back it up, and then I'm going to sew and then back it up again. So back stitch on the top and the bottoms of this. We're going to do the same thing to our fleece pieces. Match them up. Put you a wide mouth clip there. I'm sure you guys already know how valuable these wide mouth clips are. And if you make a trinket bowl and you have an M7, you can put them right here in the throat of your machine. The smaller trinket bowls are good for that. And we're just going to do a back stitch here, come down through, back stitch here. Now, we're going to take this out. We're going to finger press this seam we just made. Take our other clip off. Going to stretch this out here. We're going to push our seam down and finger press that. Flip it over and top stitch it at a 3.0 stitch length. And I have marked my foot, so all I have to do is follow my marking. Yeah, I came unthreaded. Hold on.
Real life sewing, y'all.
Real life sewing, y'all. What I did was start too fast, and that's what happened. You really shouldn't gas it the whole way when you first start on a seam. On your M7, when you're going to thread it, you really should have your machine locked out because it gets your foot out of the way. So then you're going to pull down and pull back up. And I fixed this threader yesterday. Hold on. Real life sewing, y'all.
It
Oh
worked
my
so
goodness.
good when right after you fixed it.
I didn't even check it today.
Well, how about we
do a giveaway while I can get this fixed.
All right, let's give away. We have lots of bags from Dennis that he's donated quite a few stuff. So we will give a couple of those away. You guys know what kind of work he does. I'm sure you see it online. So
With hot oil now, we got a threaded machine and everything. So we're just going to top stitch right there where we made that seam. And I like to do both of them at the same time, so I like to chain whenever I can. So we're just going to open that seam up, flip it over, and stick it back in the machine, and just tack that down is basically what we are doing. Okay, let me cut this off here. And we're going to do both sides. You know, we're just tacking that seam down is all we're doing. Makes it easier when we are putting these straps together. And one more right here. All right, so we've got both of them sewn. Now, you did not receive double-sided sticky tape, but I did tell you guys I was going to be using it. So, for me, the double-sided sticky tape with the vinyl, that's made for vinyl, it's a heavier duty. I just want to give you a helpful hint on this. Once you're using your double-sided sticky tape, try to keep it in a plastic bag or just the bag that it came in, because it's very sticky and it will get very dirty just laying around in your sweatshop. So just after you use it, store it back in its plastic bag. And don't store more than one together. That they will start sticking together. So I'm going to pull this up, and I'm going to lay it right on the edge. Now this is a 1/4 inch double-sided sticky tape, so if I just run this along the edge of my strap piece, I'll show you a helpful hint of how I'm doing this. I've got my hand in here, and I get a little bit of tape leeway here, and then I eyeball where I'm going to touch down at, and then I'll press it out. So if you I've tried all kinds of different ways, and I'm telling you, I'm saving you a lot of heartache and a lot of sticky situations if you just hold the tape up, eyeball where you're going to, and don't try to do it all at once. Just do it in little sections, and then pull it, just pull it straight, and then tap down, and then straighten it out. And if you're doing this to the edge, when you fold this in, you've got a 1/4 inch edge that isn't raw anymore, because right now they're raw edges. So I'll take a wide mouth clip, and I'll push it down, and then I'll move to the opposite side. Sometimes I just do this with the back of my precision scissors, because they're always in the bed of my machine too, in the throat of my machine. So I'll just go like this with the precision scissors. So whatever you have near will work. Now we're going to do the opposite side. Get it started. Tap down, push. Pull it up, tap down, push. Pull it up, tap down, push. So if you start saying that in your head, you will learn to use this tape, and you won't fight with it and be all sticky and sticking to everything. Ask me how I know. There we have it. So now we're at the end. You really should have a pair of scissors, you know, we call them junk scissors, just to not gum up any of your scissors. It's not that bad, but if you do it over time, just designate a pair of scissors as your junk scissors to cut zippers and to cut your sticky tape with.
Miss Sassy would like to know if you could use a glue stick there.
You could. The reason I don't is because now I have to measure the 1/4 inch to fold it in, instead of right now. I'll show you in a minute. When I fold this over, it is going to be a 1/4 inch because of this tape. I'll show you how I'm going to fold it in a minute. So I'm just going to set this aside. I am not going to pull this off yet, because guess what? Everything's going to stick to it if I'm not careful. So I don't want to be careful right now. So I'm going to go pull my other strap down here. By the way, this strap was designed to be thinner at your shoulder and taper out. In case you didn't notice that part, there was a reason. There is a method to all my madness, just so you know. Now, your double-sided sticky tape will stick to your fusible fleece as well. However, when you fold in your edges, you want it to be ready. Oh, this one didn't get flipped over here. You want it to be ready to sew. Like, don't do it way ahead of time because of the fusible fleece, it will kind of try to pull apart from the fusible fleece. It doesn't that bad because this is the heavier duty kind of double-sided sticky tape. I will tell you, you know, I know a lot of people are getting it from the dollar store and stuff. It is not heavy-duty vinyl tape, so your fusible piece will not stick good with the cheapo tape. I mean, this ain't that expensive. Ooh, that was so country, huh? This isn't that expensive, but
The grammar people are just cringing right now.
yes, and we do have teachers and educators and everything in there. Okay, so I did the one side, and now I'm going to do the other. This might seem like a time-consuming part, but it's really not once you get used to doing it. And it certainly beats trying to fold over and iron, and then you never get it quite a 1/4 inch. And I know there's gadgets and stuff for that, but I don't personally have them, and I find this to be the most effective way to do this stuff.
Well, that's an accurate 1/4 inch one.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So because I told you I want to pretty much sew this right after I have it folded, I'm going to switch back to my other piece and prepare that one first because it absolutely sticks better on the thing without the fleece. But we'll be all right, I promise. We're going to take this one back. Going to pull it to where we can reach it. Now, you can usually just pick at this and it'll come apart. If it doesn't lift up for you that easily, you can take your precision scissors. I'll do it on the next piece. This one just pulled right up. But I don't want to undo this whole thing. I just go right past the half, snip off that paper, and now I'm going to work with bending these over, okay? So, I wonder if I should go to the cutting station to get a better view. Or this is good. I just looked at the camera. I didn't look up. This is a good view right here. So, because this is a 1/4 inch, if I just put my nails at the edge of this tape and flip it over, it's going to be a 1/4 inch. And once you start doing it, it kind of forms for you, right? So, like that. So you do get a little bit sticky doing that. You're just going to do a little section at a time so you don't get out of control. And if you get a little wide in an area or not so wide in an area, it's not going to be detrimental. Okay, so I bent it to where I had the paper off. Now I'll remove this side, but I'm going to act like I can't get it off, and I'm going to show you what to do. So you're going to poke it with your precision scissors, poke a hole and kind of lift, and it's lifting right off. So that's a little tip and trick on how to get those tapes off. Or you can score it and do the same thing, but I usually just puncture it real quick and keep it moving. So this is what you're going to do to prepare both straps is now bend over where you had your double-sided sticky tape. Okay? And I also take the wide mouth clip and kind of press it out good. Okay, now I'm going to flip it around to the other side. I always work with things closest to my belly so I'm not stretching and reaching and having to look over it to see if I'm folding it right. If you do it closest to your body, you'll be able to see it better. So I'm just going to puncture this, lift it up, go about halfway, a little bit past the halfway mark, snip it off, throw it away, get it out of your way, and just start bending. And if you notice, I always start with my stuff on this side so I can move it. And this side that's flapping around over here is not getting stuck to everything because I don't have the tape off of it yet. The paper off of the tape yet. So, do we have any questions?
No, I'm kind of nailing it over here, I think.
Oh.
If I'm not nailing it, please let me know and ask again.
I was thinking it was awful quiet.
I think they're so enthralled with you, G.
Oh my gosh.
And you look so beautiful today.
Oh.
Give her lots of hearts, you guys, if you think she looks beautiful.
Oh my gosh. You're trying to get a compliment for yourself because we look just alike. So.
Well, then there's that.
Busted. Okay. Smooth that out. Now, of course, we are human. We are not robots, and there are going to be sometimes where you bent a little more than others. Don't fret about it. It's going to be fine.
It's not that fiddly.
It's not that fiddly, exactly. So this one is totally prepared. We have no raw edges showing. It's nice and pretty. There we go. So I'm going to just set this over here until I get the fleece one done. And that way this one, the other one is already ready, and I can just throw it right on here and not waste any time before this fleece one gets sewn. So it's the same process. Going halfway. Getting that out of the way. Oh, there we go. So if you'll notice that it's just a little more, it is a little more fiddly, but not really. It's not bad. I will tell you, I've done a million straps, and I was so grateful when I learned about the double-sided sticky tape. It sure beats trying to iron a 1/4 inch and iron it down. Oops, I just knocked something in the garbage. I'm not sure what it was.
Carol,
Let me get that for you, G.
Carol Froling wants you to know that you're all beautiful.
Oh,
Who said that?
Carol Froling.
Oh.
she's amazing, that lady.
Let me see if I
Over here.
Oh, I thought it was on this one. Oh, this-
Okay.
Oh,
So,
yeah, you're in trouble. You put a Sharpie in the...
uh-oh.
Oh, you put all kinds of things in this trash can.
Okay, well, it needs to be out of my way
Can
then.
I just put it here?
Yeah, whatever. I don't even know what it is. So we're straightening this out, you know, tacking it down a little bit better, and this is what it looks like. Yay. So as you can see, we still got our tape on the other side, but we have folded this in. You will see right here that it's just not quite covering, right? It's a little bit off, right? It's okay. It just, the fabric is trying to pull away from that fusible fleece. So, I mean, if you really wanted, you could go take this, lay it on your Teflon sheet and press it and kind of melt the glue a little bit better on the adhesive, you know, melt the adhesive on the tape. But honestly, it's not that necessary. I'll show you why. Okay. And when you're trying to pick the tape off, you most likely will need to puncture it when you're working with the fleece one. It just works better. You seen I was trying to pick it off, and it's really better to puncture anyway, unless you swipe it one time and it starts to peel up. Otherwise, just puncture it because you don't want to start fraying your fabric and stuff. That counts for any time you're using the tape. So we're going to just do the same thing again. If you notice, I'm just doing a little section at a time, and y'all know me, I love to do everything fast, but honestly, this is the most efficient way to do it. And we're going to remove the other thing, and here we go. And next, we will put these wrong sides together, and we're going to top stitch it. You guys, the M7 is amazing with the top stitching because the bottom and the top stitches look the same. If your machine doesn't do that, just always make sure that you're stitching the top part of your strap with your facing you, you know. That way, if there's a difference when your top and bottom stitching. So we've got our fusible here. We've got our SF101 pieces here. First, we're going to match these seams up. Got a little thread here. We're going to match these seams right here. This is important because it will be seen. So you've got your top stitching here and you've got your middle seam there. Just match those up together. Right like that. There you go. There we go. So we're just going to match those up. We're going to put a clip here. Now, so we're just putting this on top of each other, lining it up as best you can. Oh, and I will tell you that your fusible, the SF1, the fusible that you get from Joann's is a lot thinner than the Bosal one. The Bosal is a little beefier fleece. So just keep that in mind. If your machine has a hard time stitching through things, then perhaps you might want to use the Pellon brand, because it is a little thinner than the Bosal brand. So as you can see, we've got no raw edges showing, and we're just clipping this along with our wide mouth clips. So this will be a great time for questions if anybody has any.
No,
While they watch
Or
me.
a great time for a giveaway, or
Sure, I'm just doing the same thing on this side as I did that side. I'm sure
well,
they.
I mean, if you feel like they need to, maybe they need to watch that part. That's
Okay.
fine.
Okay.
They told me I was killing it, G.
Okay.
Oh,
And you're getting a lot of compliments on your nails, even from the husbands.
Oh.
oh, we got hubbies watching.
For some reason, today I'm knocking everything out. It looks like a bomb went off over here. You guys, it's like our own sweatshop. It's starting to look like a bomb went off.
Yeah, and you're gonna get your butt spanked.
Yeah,
if you
Stephanie will
mess this
kill us.
beautiful place up.
Okay, so right now I have my 101 pieces on the top. So I told you guys I like to stitch with the fleece part up. So that's what I'm going to do. Now we are going to top stitch this at 1/8 of an inch with a 3.0 stitch length. Obviously, if you like a longer stitch length, go for it. Your top stitching should be longer than your normal stitching. It's kind of like a decorative deal. So we've got these pretty much kind of sandwiched together. Don't worry about the edge because it's going to get sewn in to your bag. So we're just going to try to keep these lined up. And basically it kind of smashes them together. Now, if you have a hard time with your needle sticking to your adhesive tape underneath there, I do really like the Teflon needles. That will help you. And since we're not dealing with a lot of tape in this bag, I would actually put the Teflon needle in if you're having a hard time, and then take it back out and don't waste your Teflon needle. Put your regular needle back in, your purple needle back in, and you'll be fine. And then your Teflon needle will last longer. Teflon needles by Schmetz are what I end up using, and they're good. Well, I guess you got to make sure it is compatible with your machine. I think some machines are picky about different brands of needles. So I'm stopping every now and then and just making sure that I've got both of my edges here nice. On your fleece part, if you see it starting to poof out a little bit, just smooth it down a little bit just to make sure that you're okay. No questions?
No, we're good. Oh, I lied. Does G prefer to do the strap this way versus stitching and turning the strap? Just wondering the reasoning.
The stitching and turning the strap.
Like creating a tube and...
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I do prefer this. You guys, when I was doing the writing of, or the designing of this pattern, I really was trying to be considerate of people with all kinds of different machines and skill levels, and I'm usually very conscious of that stuff. So I want to make things easiest, and I try a lot of things, trial and error, and I will tell you that the way I'm teaching you is the best way that I came up to accomplish what I had in my head. If that makes sense. I don't know if you guys heard that. It's not my machine coming in disengaged. It's not that. That was my needle sticking to the tape because I stood there, stayed in the same place and took a drink. And so if you just keep it moving, it shouldn't stick very much to your... I've just got a purple needle in here. But if it stays in there a little bit long, then it can start to gum up a little bit. And when I'm done with this, I'll just look at my needle and make sure it doesn't have any gumballs on there, you know, and wipe my needle. I'll just take my fingernails and just rub against my needle just to make sure I don't have any gummy stuff on there.
After this, is that a good place to have like a 5-minute break?
Sure, yes. Absolutely. So let me get done stitching this. Okay, I can go faster. I just try to go a little bit slower when I'm teaching. There we go. So, and I just go ahead and go across the edge here just to tack it all down. It's not going to be seen, this edge, because it's going to get sewn in. So, I will show you what we have here. We have one beautiful strap. Let me move this stuff. I am going to put my tape back in my bag. We're getting ready to use it after the break, but I'm still going to put it in my bag for the time being. So, here we have a nice strap. We can let you look at the stitching, and you can see that in certain little places, it didn't totally match up. It's totally fine. This is going to be fabulous. Okay, so we're going to take a little break, and I don't know for how long, but it'll be showing you on your screen. 5-minute break. Okay, so it'll be showing on your screen, and we will see you on the other side.
One last question.
Back, and according to our sheet, we are going to be on page 3, and it's sewing the exterior bag. Okay, yeah, so we're going to, now this is important, so I want you to look at how, we're going to get our zipper out that goes on the front of our bag, which is your 9.5 that have the 2 different tabs on it, okay? So, what's very, very important is when you have your Lella shape, you know, this was the top of the Lella, it's going this way, okay? We're going to just put our other Lella shape away so it doesn't get in our way. And here's the way we're going to be looking at our Lella shape. Here's our zipper. we are going to put it on our left side. When we're looking at our shape, we're going to put it on our left side, okay? So we're going to lay it here, but we're going to put it right side down. So your tab, your zipper pull is facing your Lella shape, okay? Now, if you recall, this is longer than the Lella shape, right? That is what we want. And we want to line this up to where there's just a little peeking out right here. See that? My tabs, I did not do my tabs very nicely, but they'll look great on the front. So we've got about this much hanging off on this side, about this much hanging on this side. I like to have this hanging off, and I'll show you why later. So if you want, you can put a clip here and line it up. You're lining up this zipper tape to the edge of your Mega Lella shape, okay? If you want, like I said, you can go through and clip it if that makes you feel better too. Just make sure that your 2-inch squares are at the top. So you're looking at the top of the Lella. This is at the top, and the 2x4s that you started with are down here. So the longer piece is at the bottom, okay? Of course, when we sew this, we're going to be sewing it from the bottom up, but just because of the nature of how your machine is oriented, right? So we're going to turn this, and right now our goal is just to baste this in place. And when I say baste, that means 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and I am still going to be using a 2.4 stitch length to get this attached to this Lella shape. I'm going to start all the way at the end, not just where the zipper is. I'm going to start all the way at the end and get this tacked down. These stitches will not be seen. We're just getting this tacked down, tacked into place. And this HP 2-foot allows you to keep going, and the zipper pull won't be interfering with the foot. However, try to get in the habit of getting your pull out of the way, and then your zipper tape will lay flat. Sometimes I get in a hurry and I don't move it, but it does, your tape lays flatter if you get the pull. Once you get into a certain part of your tape, you can get that pull out of the way. And you're going through the entire thing, not just on your tape. Just come through the entire piece, okay? Then you're going to take that off. Now let's look at this again the right way so we can line this up properly. We're going to take our exterior lining pocket. So the weirdo shape, I told you guys the weirdo shape earlier. Sherry, can you get it, please? It's over there. That's what we're going to be attaching now. And the reason it's shaped like that is obviously because we're not working with rectangles here. So because of the way the parallelogram is, we had to come up with a shape that can make your lining pocket the right way. So here is your weirdo shape.
I told you we should have put
in
quotations weirdo shape next to what that is.
Here is your exterior zipper lining pocket. So we are going to put right sides together.
Oh, while you're saying that, everything is now uploaded into your list of your, you don't need to, into your files. Yeah. And so they can refer to that if they want.
Okay.
You know, if they want to print it out and do that.
I would just, you know, it's probably going to be better just to listen to me and then play it back later. But anyway, we're going to do right sides together. And see how this is a shorter side and this is a longer side? This shorter side is facing the top. Okay? So we're going to line this up, not quite at the top, just a little bit down, let's say 1/8 of an inch if you have to have a measurement. But we are going to line this up here at the top, and most important, we are going to line it here along the zipper edge. So we're going to smooth this out. So if you want to see where I've got mine totally lined up, let me put a clip here and then I'll tilt it so you can see it. So that is about how I've got mine. It's not totally lined up with here, and that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that I have this edge along the zipper straight, okay? So we're just going to go on the edge of this and clip it down through. Now, your zipper pull, put it wherever you need it to so it's not annoying to you. And then once you get this pinned into place or clipped into place, we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance and sew this down, and that's going to be your zipper will be totally installed on this piece. Oops. Ooh, don't y'all love when you have new wide mouth clips and they're just so sturdy, like they're so hard to open, but I just love that.
It doesn't take a lot to amuse us, you guys.
Okay, so we're doing a 1/4 inch, and even though there's nothing here to sew, I'm still going to start up here and just go 1/4 inch the whole way down.
Miss Sassy wants to know if you tried any of this on a serger.
No, I have not. But she should, and tell us how the experience was.
Yeah.
How about that?
I was just typing that.
You are now volunteered, Miss Sassy Pants.
So,
There's a question asking what time is lunch break. I don't know the answer, so I can't answer that.
I think it's probably in like 20 minutes or so, something like that.
Okay.
I'm getting that zipper out of my way so everything lays flatter. If you've not done zippers, just try to get that zipper pull out of your way so you don't get annoyed with it. And then you won't want to do zippers, and then you're losing out on a bunch of very nice things.
Don't be scared of the zippers.
Don't be scared, Lisa Gifford. Oh, called her right out.
Called her out.
Maybe after watching this, she'll be wanting to love zippers. So we've got that sewn, right? We're going to open it, push it back. Hold on a second. Sorry. Okay, we're going to pull this back like that. I like to close my zipper so I have something more substantial to hold on to, right? We're just going to pull it back and kind of finger press it. Make sure you just smooth it down from the back side. If you want, you can put a little pin in here to keep this out of your way. Now that you've straightened it nice, you can just put a pin here and just keep it out of your way. We're going to flip it over, smooth it from the front edge, and now we are going to top stitch this using 3.0 stitch length, and we're going to top stitch that. I need to turn this around. We're going to top stitch this right onto that Lella shape. We're top stitching the Lella. Okay. And we're going to start off of our fabric. There's a little bit left over there. That way you can start off of your, that's why I have these longer. Change it to 3.0. And now we're going to follow this marking on our foot or whatever you use to do your top stitching. Some people like to switch their feet and use a stitch in the ditch foot or the G foot. But I just, for this whole project, I figured out how to do it without changing feet. Without changing feet and plates. So I'm just top stitching this along. This just gives it a nice aesthetic. I could have moved the zipper pull out of my way, but it wasn't really in my way because of this foot. So we went all the way to the end there. Now, it's nice and top stitched. Okay. And, ooh, got a little wobbly right there. Anyway, right there it's nice and top stitched. So now we can unpin that. We're going to take this edge and line it up with the top of our zipper, with the edge of our zipper. Oh my gosh. Okay, I thought I messed up, but I didn't. It's because I don't have it this way. Anyway, we're going to line this at the edge of our zipper here, and we're going to baste that into place. Just using 1/8 of an inch. Just sew it on the edge here. Let's see if I can get this. Just kind of straighten this out. If you want to, just kind of match your edges. If you want to like kind of crease it, you can. And then you're just going to stitch this into place right along the zipper here. I'm going to turn mine over so I can look at my zipper. And I'm going to just start off the edge right up here where all my other top stitching is, and just bring it straight down through here. You can keep it on the other side if you want. Sometimes it's just easier to look at your zipper. I do it both ways. It just depends on my mood, I suppose. So we're just basting that in place, because obviously when we put the other Lella shape on here, it's going to be covered. This is going to be covered up. Okay, so we have our pocket here. It's attached, right? So now we have to close these edges. So we're going to bend this back and just get this part into our machine. We're making sure that the Lella shape is not in the way. And we are going to 1/4 inch sew this closed. And this will never be seen, so it doesn't matter if you don't use a leader or whatever. And I'm going to come down through here, and I'm just paying attention that nothing is underneath here. And I'm going to come as close as I can and just right off the edge. So here we go. I'm going to come down here and just right off the edge. I can back stitch it right there, but it'll be fine. So now this edge is closed. Now we have to do this edge, right? Because it's open. So we're going to bend this back. Sorry. I'm going to bend this back here, stick it in there, and go on this edge. I back stitch at the beginning and end most of the time. Okay. I'm coming down here to the edge. I'm making sure that this is not underneath there. That's important. Ask me how I know. And so don't do that. Just make sure nothing's underneath there. And this up here you'll never lose things out of the pocket or anything. There's not enough that's not sewn. So there is your sewn pocket, right? So it should look like this on the edge. Now I'm going to lift this up and look at it real good. Just making sure everything's nice and flat. Now, this edge here, this top edge, remember this is the top of the Lella, I am just going to baste this so it's not flapping, okay? You all know how I hate that. So we're going to just stitch this down right here. I should be looking at it from the other side, making sure I'm catching it, but I'm just getting that to where it's nice and secure. There's no way to do it to the other side. So I literally, see, I tack this side down. I literally smooth it out, put a pin, and this way I don't have to worry about it flapping up, okay? You can even pin this side if you wanted to, but I find that just putting a pin right here throughout the rest of the project, it'll be out of your way. So that is that. Oh my gosh, you guys, we almost have an exterior bag done. And are we okay on time? I can go ahead and attach this.
15 minutes.
Okay, so, all right. Now, here we are looking at the Lella shapes again, right? We're going to make sure that the top is here. Our edge is going this way. Very important. So this needs to go right here. So how are we going to do that? Now we're sewing angles. And here is the trick. Okay? I'm going to use a red so you guys can see it. I'm going to take my 1x6 ruler or your 2x6 or whatever you have handy. I'm going to lay this ruler in line with this Lella shape. Okay? Right here. I'm lining this up, going across that tab. Now remember that tab, there was extra fabric. I wanted that there. Here's what we're going to do. If you feel like chopping that off and you think it's better to not have it there, then you can do that, but I don't. So what I did is just extended this line as if I cut it. I just don't want to cut it yet. So I'm extending this line. That's important because when you're sewing an angle, you have to measure your seam allowance of the angle to match with the edge of the fabric where you want it to be. Because obviously when you open it back up, you're going to be sewing it like this, right? You can't just put this on here willy-nilly and start sewing it. You can't do that. So what we're going to do is this edge, we're going to remember this is the edge that we're going to sew to here. We're going to flip it over. You're going to use your seam guide. We're going to mark this. We're only going to be sewing this at 1/4 inch, right? So we're going to mark this edge. I'm just flipping it back here so I can see it. I'm using my seam guide and I'm going to mark 1/4 inch, okay? So if you want to, oh, beautiful, right here, 1/4 inch, okay? So this line has to match up with this line, all right? So now that we have that marked, let's turn this over. And now what I like to do is I like to make sure that this little red line and this line are going to touch. So I'm going to put this on here where it's touching. I'm going to push my nail here. Now you could, let's see, you could put a pin if you needed to. I find that if I just push it with my nail and hold on to it while I'm arranging, it's fine. But if you want to push it, it's very important that this line and this line are touching. Okay? Right like that. So I'm not going to use a pin. I'm just going to push and hold it nice. Steady holding it. And then I'm going to straighten this out. Hold it up. If you hold it up and kind of, you know, flail it around a little bit, it'll go into place. And now when we come, I'm going to clip that here. I'm going to clip this all along the zipper edge, the zipper tape edge. Very important, you guys, about that line, because I won't tell you how many times and how many Lella shapes that went in the garbage because I couldn't get it to line up when I opened it back up. So we're going to sew this at 1/4 inch. Now, remember, don't worry about what's hanging off. 1/4 inch, I'm going to take this back down to 2.4 because I'm not top stitching. And we're going to sew this 1/4 inch, starting at the very edge and just coming through. And here again, you're putting your zipper in. So 1/4 inch. This oh,
Take a drink, G.
Okay, this edge here that you're doing at 1/4 inch, I lost my train of thought. I almost choked. Anyway, we're going to continue this on 1/4 inch. I'm going to go ahead, since I'm stopped, and get my zipper pull out of the way. I'm going to pull it all the way down because I don't need it in my way. I'm still holding this very steady after I took my clip off. I'm going to, now if I'm good, I'm going to match that right there.
We're going to cross our fingers.
Let's see.
We got about 10
Moment
more
of
minutes,
truth.
G, and I
And
think that'll be a great stopping point.
Yes, because guess what, you guys? We almost have our exterior bag sewn. Right here, you can see that 1/4 inch came through here. And with any luck at all, when we open this up, see there, I did match it up with that 1/4 inch. Now here we go.
Give lots of hearts if you're wishing that this lines up.
Yeah, let's cross our fingers. We're going to open this up. And look at that. So this is the top of our, I'm going to hold this up right like this and show you guys that now you should have a continuous line going across here. It should, hey, look at that. Look at that. I'll put it against my black shirt. See, we have a continuous line at the top of our bag.
Winner, winner, winner.
And if you look at the bottom of the bag, we also have a continuous line. So we are so happy about that. So now we have to top stitch, right? Because we can't top stitch that side and not this side. So we're going to just smooth this out. We're making sure that the seam allowance underneath is pushed underneath the Lella part of the shape or of your bag. So we're smoothing this out. And now we are going to top stitch this. Right? Top stitch this right here. At
Remind people that the broadcast will stop when we go to lunch, and we're going to come back at 1:30 on a new broadcast.
Okay, so we're going to stitch this. We changed our stitch length again to 3.0 because we're top stitching, and we're going to take this down through here. Like I said, move the zipper pull out of your way if it's in your way. Come down through here, top stitching, all the way through your bag, all the way through that seam, okay? Now, we have that completely done. Are we at the stopping point, or I have a few more minutes?
You have a few more minutes.
All right. Okay, let's do this, you guys. Okay, let me show you what I've done to my stitch plate to help me out so that I didn't have to switch feet and everything. We're going to need to sew this angle now, right? Because now we need to make it like a tube. You know, we're going to make it like that. So in order to do that, with all my calculations and stuff, this ended up
Y'all didn't know
be...
G was a geometry expert, right?
Now you guys can actually go brag to your friends that you have sewn on angles. So how I did this is I need a 1 inch seam allowance to stitch this back seam in order for everything to match up, okay? So what I've done is I've taken some painter's tape. Now if you are good at using the markings on your plate, more power to you. Just need a 1 inch seam allowance. I am unable efficiently and, you know, I like it so
accurately,
fast.
Yeah.
And accurately, I'm unable to do that. So what I've done, and if you don't know how to measure drop your needle down, put your 1x6 ruler here, and look on your plate, or if it's not marked, just leave your ruler right there, and you're going to butt this up to your ruler, and then you'll have an inch seam allowance. My plate has a 1 on it right here, so I'm just going to use my my painter's tape. It does not bother your machine. It removes without any residue. And now that is a 1 inch seam allowance, okay? It's brilliant. It's so you don't have to switch plates and put seam guides and this and that. This is really fast and easy. I will tell you that when I am using this, I'm looking right here, right across from my foot, and I'm using this part to keep everything aligned. I'm not worried about what's down here or anything. I'm looking straight across from my foot, and this is where I'm lining things up. Okay, so how are we going to do this at 1 inch and get this angle? Because look how crazy this is, right? How are you going to do that? You are going to mark this piece 1 inch. So you're going to put your 1x6 ruler here. you're going to take your heat erase pen or whatever. It doesn't need to erase, but no one's ever going to see this. I'm going to mark my 1 inch there. I didn't need it that long. I forgot, one of my testers used, they marked 1 inch the whole way. If you find that necessary, then do it. But for me, it wasn't. So now I'm doing right sides together. But what's important is this red line is going to meet the edge of this fabric, right? In order for it to be 1 inch. So I'm going to put these together, and I'm going to push on where my line is. Hold it like that, and then I'm going to hold it up. And you hold it up and kind of shake it. And now I'm gonna clip it. If you don't do this at a 1 inch seam allowance, nothing's going to match up. Nothing's going to fit. So let me put a few more because this is a little bit heavier. So I want to hold this up and show you guys what it looks like because it's kind of funky. See here? It's kind of, you don't think it's going to be able to sew right. Remember, all you have to worry about is what's underneath your needle. So you're going to go like this and see how it kind of folded up when I was trying to get it in here? Don't worry. Just fool with it, lift it up a little bit, make sure that this is flat, and then come in here. Match up with this part of your tape and then let her rip. And I back stitch right here, and then I'm just going to go through this whole seam. Now, you can take it easy. Don't fly through it if you don't want to. Just make sure that this is nice and flat, and this isn't getting stuck flipping over here underneath your needle or anything. You're looking right here if you're doing it my way. If not, then do it your way.
You're on your own.
If not, you're on your own. Also, I do like to take my clips out way before I get to them because it makes it lay flatter. So remember, I'm just looking here. I'm not looking at anything but right here. Just making sure that's lined up when I'm up there. I'm going to back it up. Well, that wasn't a very good backup. Okay. So now we have our seam, okay? We're going to go to the ironing station, and we're going to use our seam assist and press that out, and then guess what? That'll be a good stopping point unless we can run past a couple minutes and we can get our bottom seam done, and then you guys can look and know that you've got your exterior bag. So if we're allowed to run over just a couple minutes.
Yes, we can do that.
Okay, so
just for you, G.
Start that iron up.
Just for you.
If you guys have a seam assist, this is a great place to use it.
And a great time to buy it if you don't have, you guys need to use your coupon.
So
or your discount code, I mean.
Yeah. We're going to, ooh, I love this. I just love it. See here, we're just going to press this open. Now, if you have a removable arm on your machine, let me just let this.
We're not on steam.
Okay, here we go. If you have a removable arm on your machine and you want to, or you can do it on the M7, it's just a little more fiddly, and I am not going to be doing that. You can actually top stitch this so it stays nice and flat, okay? So in other words, if you wanted to touch top stitch, you could go right on either side of this seam and get it top stitched. For me, that's not necessary, and we're not going to do that. I'm not doing that, but you can if you want. Now, since we have this here, I know where I want to match it up, but if you want to flip this around and kind of look where how diagonally you want that zipper, you can, I'll show you. It's easier to explain that way. You can take this and look at it, okay? Say, how much do I want this zipper to be? And you have to remember, this pocket is in here, and you don't want to sew into your pocket and make your pocket shorter. So what you can do is look at it this way. About 3 inches is good for this. But you can determine where you want, if you want it a little bit more over here, but you have to remember these corners are getting boxed. So while I have it inside out, okay, so we had it right like this, right? I'm going to look at this seam, and I'm going to kind of match it right here with this. That's my rule of thumb. That way I'm not having to flip-flop, and wonder where everything's going to land.
And that's why her purses are the same.
That's why
she's consistent with that.
Yes. And so, however you want to match it up, you're going to want to turn it back this way. I'm creasing the sides because remember, we don't have a side seam to match up. So if we crease this, it kind of becomes a seam, right? It's not really a seam, it's just a crease, but we're, for lack of a better word. So we've got this marked, okay? Now I will stay right here and mark my 1.5 inch little square that I have up here. My assistant is on the other side of the room, so sorry. I've got my 1.5 inch square here. I'm going to go ahead and mark this right here. Okay. I'm going to show you why here in a second.
I was prepared to do that after the break, but since you went into the break, that went...
I'm sorry, you guys. Should we stop here and finish this? Are we okay? Okay, let's just do this. We just going to sew this and then cut these corners off and box the sides. And then we're done. Okay. So we're going to go sew. Now, now we'll never do another 1 inch seam the rest of this bag. So we're going to line this up to do 1/2 inch seams. I already know where my 1/4 inch is because I'm following the edge of my foot. But now I need a 1/2 inch seam, which is just lining up with the teeth or the feed dogs of this machine.
Of the M7.
Of the M7. So find where your 1/2 inch is and put your tape down here. So we're going to take a 1/2 inch seam and we're going to start right here where our box was drawn on, and we are going to back up. We're going to stitch and do a back stitch. We're going to just follow this 1/2 inch seam the whole way through. When you're coming on your seam, just make sure it's pushed down and not in the way. Okay? And I'm just going to keep going 1/2 inch seam all the way through here. Okay? When we get down to our red box again, we're going to stitch it, and then we're going to back stitch really good right here because we're going to be boxing this corner. We're going to take our precision scissors and cut this square out. If you would rather, you could go to your cutting board and use your rotary for this part, but I found it easier just to do it like this.
And if you don't have those precision scissors, those are hard to say, then you need to get some while you're there, while you have your coupon code.
Okay, so this is ready to be boxed. We're going to, remember we creased this, so we are going to match this crease up with the seam we have here. We're going to open this up and match it right with that seam. Okay, now we're going to be sewing this at a 1/2 inch. So I'm going to take my stitch length down.
To what?
To 2.4. And now, if you see this aggravates a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you that on the foam part, it won't do this, but on this part, I cannot get this not to do this. So, no matter what I do. So, it's okay. we're going to just take this and put it in the machine, make sure nothing is underneath there, and we're going to sew this at a 1/2 inch. Okay? Same as we just did that other seam on the bottom. I'm going to back up, just make sure these are open, and just going to continue on with the 1/2 inch, back up there, and done. Going to do the same thing to the other side, like that. Open this up, put a clip here, and stick that in there. Keep that open. And back up here, 1/2 inch seam, remember? Back up at the end. Now, if you'd like, you can trim this. I don't feel it necessary, so I just leave it. It kind of gives you a little bit more stability in your corners. But if you feel the need to trim that, go right ahead. Just make sure you don't clip your stitches, okay? So, we can literally flip our bag out now.
Yay.
OMG. Look at
What
your
about
bag.
your needle that's going to stick you?
You can keep that pin in there for the duration of this, even when you turn it out. I just kept it in the whole time, and I take it out at the end. How about this, you guys? There is your exterior bag before the break. How about that?
Yay!
So, we'll
take a break, and then when we come back, we'll start out with giveaways, and then we'll get right back into it. We're going to be back at 1:30, you guys, on a new broadcast.
Yep. So how about that? Are you guys excited? Give me lots of hearts if you are so excited, and we will see you. We will see you after the break.
Bye, y'all. Peace out.